Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's sharing of Harmonize to Energize, based on the teachings of Jin Shinjutsu, the ancient art in some understandings of harmonizing the life energy in the body. My name is Terry Matthews. I work here at the international headquarters of Jin Shinjutsu in Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's my pleasure to share with you the knowledge and wisdom that I have gained by studying Jin Shinjutsu for several years. And those of you that have been following along will know that we're working on the self-help practices from Mary Burmeister's self-help book 2 currently. And those that are interested in exploring more, there's links up there for you to click on, and you can obtain ebooks or soft cover versions of these books. So today we're going to be looking at Safety Energy Lock 20. And I'm going to start the slides so that we can do just that. So number 20, Mary tells us, is up here on the forehead, left and right. Actually, there's a central 20, which is in between the eyebrows. And Mary describes it as coming to the universe, meaning everlasting eternity, helping the chest, heart, head, ears, eyes, equilibrium, tension, stress, etc. And she carries on and gives various practices for facilitating the opening of Safety Energy Lock 20. But before we go into those practices, let me just give you a definition from one of the books that Mary Burmeister used to use as a reference, which is the Tarot by Paul Foster Case, A Key to the Wisdom of the Ages. And interestingly, Key 20 means judgment, but it's actually called Shin, although it's pronounced Sheen. And it means tooth, probably a serpent's fang, and suggests sharpness and active manifestation. The number of the letter is the value of the Hebrew words. There's various pronunciations which I can't get around, but we'll say Al-Him, Ruach Elohim, which means life breath of the divine ones or Holy Spirit. Therefore, do Kabbalists call Sheen the holy letter. Fire is the element attributed to Sheen. It is the particular quality of the solar force and of the Mars vibration. It is also the quality of the zodiacal signs represented by the Emperor. Color is scarlet. Perpetual intelligence is the mode of consciousness. Its name is derived from a Hebrew root meaning to stretch. This implies that the perpetual intelligence is an extension beyond the limits of the modes of consciousness common to most human beings. The name also implies, as Mary pointed out, everlastingness, eternity, and thus conscious immortality. So for me, and for those of you that may be a student of the energy work of Jin Shinjutsu and other philosophies, the 20 either side and the central 20 represent the opening of what is sometimes called the third eye or the inner eye, and it is that gives you that access to perpetual consciousness. All that glitters is not only gold. Once you can see through your inner eye, you may receive images from what is known as the astral world, and these are very colorful images. I'm fortunate that I can see images through my eye, and I can tell you it'll give you a different version of the reality you live in. They say as above, so below. Well, yes, that's true as well, but on a beautiful sunny day with rainbows everywhere would be about the only way I could represent the similarity between the astral world and everyday world. So anyway, That being that, if you ever do open your inner eye and third eye, or you have that open, use it as an exploration rather than a goal. It is a way of understanding representations of the universe go beyond the conscious thinking mind. It can give you understandings and wisdoms about different levels of consciousness, frequencies, and vibrations beyond the conscious material form. And hopefully, as you open that eye more and more, you will realize, wow, there is much more, much more. There is a huge picture, a bigger picture. So with that in mind, let's have a look at the practices that Mary gives to help us open this Safety Energy Lock 20. And she begins with 22, which is interesting for some of us, because one would say, well, why don't we just hold the 20s? Well, I think for all intents and purposes, it's a little sometimes uncomfortable to hold this. But also, here at the 22, we have that connection with 144,000 special function energy. That alone will help you understand that there is more than what your naked eye represents normally. And once this 20 is open, you may get to see the energies that swirl around all these different functions in the body. So I think that was a very ingenious move for Mary to help us open the 20 through the 22. Also, 22 is a descending safety energy lock. It'll pull the energy down from the 20. And to be honest, if you're too stuck in your head, you're not going to rise above it and so below it. You're not going to be in your ground, because whatever images you see above, you need to ground them to make some coherent sense of what you're viewing. All right. Now, the next practice is holding the right or left little finger. That's where we can harmonize Safety Energy Lock 22, as well as what we showed here with the 22. Number 20 Safety Energy Lock can be harmonized by holding left or right little finger. And as I always recommend when we're doing these kinds of practices, just check out the different segments of your finger, whichever it is. Little finger, this represents bust line, this represents waistline, this represents hip line, these segments. So check which ones, especially to the side, may be more tender than the other. That's the one that you'll choose. And then finally, the practice that Mary gives is the opposite high 19 and high 1, which you can see there. And here she is returning to where Safety Energy Lock 20 sits in the representation of bust line, waistline, hip line. It's actually a bust line representation. So she's now assisting it at this level as above the waist, so below she's bringing down those images to earth. So the final practice I always want to do, like to do, I'm keen to do, to share with you, is give yourself a hug, all complete. We actually are going to hold the 22s again with the thumb underneath the shoulder girdle. There they sit with the fingers on the edge of the shoulder blade, 26, all complete. And as we always do with these practices, we base it on 4 sets of 9 exhalation inhalations. And we'll start with the 22, go to little fingers left or right, and then high 19 opposite high 1, left or right, whichever you wish. Doing 9 conscious exhalations, inhalations, and we're exhaling down the front from Safety Energy Lock 4, down over the head through Safety Energy Lock 15 in the hips or the groin area, through to the big toe, which is Safety Energy Lock 7, where there is a transition and the energy returns back up from 7 through 15, 25 in the hip line, back up to Safety Energy Lock 4. So there's this oval spiral of energy. And as we exhale, we're letting go. We drop our shoulders, bow our head slightly if that's comfortable to you. That's more light in the 4s. We can smile and we can let go of what we no longer need in order to build something new. And then as we inhale, we purify what we've just built in order to renew that, in order to let go of what we don't want again and build something new yet again. So there's this continual process of letting go in order to build, purifying what we've built, to let go of what we no longer need now, in the moment. And it's always happening, consciously or unconsciously. Nature lets go of what it doesn't need. We're the ones that often block it, but natural law requires us to let go of no longer necessary aspects of our being, which are normally our thoughts, where number 20 is up there on the forehead, those thoughts that no longer serve us. Because thoughts become words, become deeds. So think about that, or not, as the case may be. So let's just stop the slide presentation, unless you're all, let's leave the slide presentation. We're going to hold our safety energy lock 22, where you can see there. You can cross your hands if it's more comfortable. It's just a question of redirecting the energy when you're doing one or the other. Doesn't matter, whichever's comfortable. Hold the 22s, keep your back straight, drop your shoulders, smile, exhale down the front of the body to the feet. And then inhale from the feet, up the back, through the hips, to the head. That's one exhalation, inhalation. We'll do 8 more. Here we go. So now we'll go to the second set of exhalation, inhalation, 9 times using the little finger. So check your right or your left, see which one feels as though it needs some loving attention, some harmonizing. Sitting up straight again. Hold that left or right little finger And exhale. Down the front. Up the back. And be aware of how connected you are from head to hip to toe. If you feel you're still way up in the heavens in your head, be aware of that. It gives you some clue to where your energy needs more completion, more movement. We bring heaven to earth and then earth to heaven. And it's important, like an electrical circuit, to feel grounded. Otherwise, we can become overwhelmed, spacey, unable to manifest our dreams, visions, which you might receive at Safety Engine Lock 20 on the earth plane. So as you come to the end of the second set of 9 breaths, just again we're going to slip into a neutral space. Space, 9th depth, is where the transformation can happen more easily. Because that's where thinking has slowed up, if not, relatively speaking, disappeared. And without that kind of interference at this frequency, we're more easily able to manifest and transform what we need. So the next set of 9 exhalation inhalations is this high 19 and opposite high 1, as you see in the slide. Choose left or right side, hold on to them. And remember, when you're holding safety energy locks, those of you who are brand new at least, we're listening for energy pulses like you would hear in the radial artery pulse on your wrist. That gives you a clue as well that the energy is moving through those areas. Of course, if it doesn't straight away, that is why we do our exhalation inhalations up to 36 times. That will facilitate the appearance of the pulse. So here we go, exhale. Down the front, all the way down, 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 down. And beyond the big toe, actually, deep, 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 deep down into the earth crystalline layer. And then all the way back up to the 7, 15, 25, and 4. It's in a beautiful spiral described by an oval. Now you may notice, as we're consciously intending to connect to Safety Energy Lock 20, maybe some images are popping up. Some images are often very beautiful and wonderful, rainbows, beautiful colors, spacecraft, angels, and sometimes they're not so pleasant. I'm reminded of the movie What Dreams May Come. Sometimes what you see doesn't seem very pleasant. There's 2 aspects to the astral plane, the planes of light, the lower and the upper astral. When you see unpleasant images, change your focus. Move away from them. move further into the more beautiful harmonizing images. And a good tip would be, if that happens to you, exhale, breathe through, let those images go to earth. Not only can they, the beautiful ones manifest, but the less beautiful ones can be transmuted. Mother Nature will transmute the negative images. And again, on the 9th exhalation, inhalation, slip into witnessing the space within and without you. All is one, actually. Pretty much everything is an illusion. And that's one of the, if you want to call it, the benefits of opening Safety Engine Lock 20. You begin to understand the concept of eternity and also the illusion that we are in. And when I say that, I mean, as sometimes sung, nothing is real, nothing to get up about. And I know that sounds a little facile, but the truth that I understand and experience from time to time in that no-thinking state is that there's nothing but space, it's emptiness. We create by our thinking. So nothing is real in that sense. It's not there, we've created it. If that makes sense. So now we'll end the practices with the final 9th exhalation, the inhalations, holding, giving ourselves a hug, holding Safety Engine Lock 26, fingers on this side of the shoulder blades, left and right, and thumbs under that Safety Engine Lock 22. If this is uncomfortable, just hold one side and then with the thigh, the high one. And here we go, 9 exhalation inhalations. Let us begin. So there is no thing and everything. Everything is created after it's thought about. Who does the thinking? Now that's another philosophical discussion. But then the no thinking state, if it's possible, is the emptiness and the space. And the peace which comes or passeth all understanding. You see, the mind cannot understand the no thing because the mind likes to have something to grab hold of. Here in a state of gratitude at the bus line, we're connecting with 144,000 special function, all complete, the lungs and the heart. And as the heart calms, the soul speaks. And this is where the true wisdom, I believe, lies. There are said to be the two souls. The souls that is pure, the universal soul, and the soul that we are born with, which is not necessarily so pure. And the journey is to meld the universal soul with the personal soul to become one. And for that we can be eternally grateful for, because in those kinds of experiences we know nothing is real, nothing to get up about, all is one. All the attitudes can go if we allow them, and then we can grow. I can't convince you, you have to experience that yourself. I could go chattering on about it forever. Experience. Practice makes progress. So when you have the opportunity with Jin Shinjutsu, if you have the books or if you don't have the books, write down those holds, those practices that spoke with your heart, and practice them with or without the 36 breaths. However, the breaths will help you sense and listen to energy as it moves through all the different pathways in your body and the energy locks. It gives you a kind of feedback loop. Ooh, I can feel something. Something's going on. Yes, it is. And it's going on at many, many levels, many dimensions, many frequencies. And it is what it is. Infinite self, impersonal self, whatever words come up. So when you come to the end of that 9 exhalation inhalations, just sit in that relative calm and silence. If your mind is still spinning or is spinning still, whatever, just keep breathing out. 36 is 3 and 6, 9, end of a cycle, beginning of a new, numerologically understood. But 108 is 1 and 8 is a 9. Really, the joy is going beyond the boundaries of the mind. Don't set yourself limitations. Go beyond your limitations. Healthy boundaries are one thing, but if you limit yourself by thinking, I can only do 36, or, I can't be bothered to do more than 36. That's when you exhale, drop your shoulders, smile, and let the universe breathe through you. Okay, so thank you for joining me once more with the practices from Self-Help Book 2. There will be a replay of this particular webinar on our YouTube page within about 24 hours. And as I often like to do, I'll just give you a quick glimpse of anything that might be happening in the Jin Shinjutsu world. And I'll turn the screen share on so that you can see. And here we are, www.jsjinc.net. Right now, happening as I speak, and I will actually be joining it myself, is a webinar led by Anita Willoughby on looking into the depths. I'm looking at the handouts. It looks very expansive and very nourishing, and those of you that have or haven't I always learn something new every time I do a Jin Shinjutsu class. Anyway, you can register today. There's the button. And then we have, also starting today, online 5-day basic class, Wayne and Sarah. This is going to go on for a little bit longer because it's 5 days and there's going to be breaks in between. You can see down there, text 1 and text 2 on different days, and then the bonus question and answer day to be determined for a later date and will be announced at class. And there's the cost. Those of you that ask, well, if I do an online class, does it count towards the 3-class prerequisite to be authorized as a practitioner by Mary Burmeister, JSJ Institute? Yes, 2 online plus 1 live when we can get to them will count as authorized as the prerequisites for an authorized practitioner. So there you can register. There's the organizers. And then coming up on January 29th and 30th is Mona Harris from Germany doing an online special topic class in English, The Elusive Pulse. Now, a lot of people get anxious about reading pulses. Let me tell you, it's a lifetime's journey for most people. Listening to what goes on in the universe as it enters your body is quite the trip. But Mona's been practicing the art for many years as a living the art instructor and a 5-day instructor, and is several lingual. And so I urge you, if this is something you want to find out more about, to register today, $175. All right. So, have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Stay safe. We are still dealing with all kinds of issues in the material world, the pandemic. And remember, nothing really, no thing is actually real until we make it real. We perceive it to be real. We think it to be real. It's energy that responds to thinking. That's why we can become creative. And when things come to us that are challenging, that's a challenge for us to go beyond, transcend that, and become more creative, more connected to the universal source, the oneness. All right, my friends, blessings, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, cheerio, bye-bye. And for those of you that are coming on to Anita's class, I will see you there.